trees. Just take my hand. We will hike until the sun goes down, and we'll start over again.
Greetings, valued travel partners, and welcome to Connect with Princess. You all remember that amazing video, right? That was our TV spots, Real Magic in Alaska. So I'm thrilled to be with you again. Hello from Ontario. So happy. Hi, Valerie. And I think we have somebody from Honolulu. Can you imagine? That's incredible. Anyway, we'll get right to it because we have hello, Vicky from BC. A rainy day. I'm sorry. It's really sunny here. So we have so much content for you. So we really want to demystify Alaska. So that's what this is all about. So first, as always, we're recording it. You can find all our webinars in the training section at onesourcecruises.com. I think it's really critical. Many of you asked us, I know we didn't make it or we could make it. This one, if you did not get it, you will want to make sure you are focused. So guess who's joining me today who decided to be back? Marsha, welcome.
Hi, Carmen. I'm back.
I gotta tell you, you're back. So I gotta tell you, Marsha, last 2 weeks ago when you were not here, everybody wanted to know where you were. You were on a secret mission, I said. And
I was.
I got texts, I got emails, I got messengers, I think I got Facebook, WhatsApp, I got carrier pigeons on the 49th floor wanting to know where is Marsha.
Really?
So you were missed.
I'm glad I was missed. I missed you all too.
You are very much missed. So why do you think I'm wearing red?
It might have something to do with love.
Exciting and new. Oh my God, just like first Marsha, I missed you so much. Yes, I'm wearing red because February traditionally, isn't that the hello, Jamal, Carpe Diem is right, seize the date. See, someone gets me. You get me, Jamal. Not everybody gets. Marsha, everybody thinks that love is just either one day, isn't that it, Valentine's Day? Or 1 month, the month of February. So for just the month of February, I'm going to wear red. But we're not honoring love just 1 month because at Princess, we believe that love is eternal. And you'll have some insider insights in today's webinar and the next one on the 23rd of February. We have exciting announcements. Nothing that's going to happen in February because, again, we believe in love beyond the 28 days. So stay tuned. What do you think?
It sounds amazing.
Okay. You're not joining me next time either. I'm super depressed because you're going to be in Japan.
Hi, Kelly.
Can't wait. I know, Marsha, you see? Marsha, it's not just. So let's get going. So, by the way, you missed it last time. We had Jeff here, our new SVP of marketing.
Yeah.
So we did lowdown on the brand campaign, which was super exciting. But in addition, we introduced Coffee Chat. So I think the first one was out, and we had Lisette, which she was in the episode 1, which was perfect. First episode, we're launching this new initiative. I'll remind everybody it's not every week because it's every other week when we don't have a webinar. Because I think you'd have way too much of me if it was every single week. So we have the 2 webinars. The next one is Feb 16th, which is really exciting. So I want to make sure everybody joins because this is kind of like your insider insights of what's happening, and you get to meet some of our wonderful colleagues, right? And what they do and how long they've been with the brand. So I think it's just exciting.
Yeah. I love that, Carmen. I loved it, and you did an excellent job as an interviewer. I'm like, oh, look at Carmen go.
Look at Carmen. Remember, I should have been Oprah, Harpo, so it's Carmen. Let's go backwards, Marsha. She's living my life, but I'm living my life right here, right now. So let me tell you, I'm going to go straight to this because our guest today that is going to join us is beyond an expert in Alaska. And Judy Hale has been with our brand 40 years. I'll let her tell you. But you're going to be mesmerized by the type of subject matter expertise. She's going to demystify the way you sell Alaska. It's going to be so amazing. So I want to welcome Judy. She's in our studio. Come on in, Judy.
Hello, Carmen.
Welcome. So good to have you.
It's so nice to be here.
And
Thank
look
you.
at that getup. Talk to me. What is that thing? Alaska. I want to be an Alaska expert. By the end of this, I will be.
You will be, I promise, and so will our listeners.
Okay, that's the key. So before we do that, when you're unraveling these mysteries, and I never let go of control, so this is really hard for me to do. I trust you, Judy. I trust you. Be gentle with my soul. Why Because I get this all the time. Is that you laughing at me, Marsha? You are so
It
cute.
is. That was funny.
I'm rarely funny, so I appreciate that. Judy puts out the best in me. It's really hard to like. But okay, since the day I joined, I get this with all our travel partners day in, day out, Judy. And I'm constantly saying we're the number one cruise line in Alaska. I know we are. Why is it that Princess is consistently voted number one cruise line in Alaska? Tell us.
Well, there we go. Number one cruise line in Alaska. The answer is it's multi-level, but the foundation is that our programs are designed to showcase all the reasons that people want to go to Alaska. And we know what they are: glaciers, mountains, and wildlife. And we'll see this woven through everything as we go through this. Then our fleets, the ships. The ships is where it all begins. Actually, the geography of Alaska is such it lends itself to cruising in Alaska. There's really no other way to see these frontier coastal towns, so cruising is essential. And we actually have the youngest fleet overall in Alaska, and these are competitive reasons why Princess is really number one in Alaska. We also have more Glacier Bay passes than any of our competitors as well, and that's important. One thing people want to see in Alaska is Glacier Bay. So having
Why
more
Glacier
passes,
Bay? Why Glacier Bay? Tell me
it's
why.
really
'Cause they're
well
gonna wanna
known.
know.
They're going to want to know. I get it.
I love it.
Number one, it's really well known. It's kind of like a household word, but beyond that, the reality
It's
is
like Beverly Hills in LA. Is that it?
very different, but
Okay.
it's a
I
household.
get it.
It's
Household
a
name.
household
I get
word.
it. I get it.
And then the actual experience is awesome. It's actually a bay with 7 tidewater glaciers that spill into it, with Marjorie Glacier at the end being the biggest. So it's an awesome experience. It's
Wow.
very well charted as a not to be missed. So it's the cruising, and it's that we are Glacier Bay National Park is featured in a lot of our itineraries. And then the next section that we are into is on board our ships. The North to Alaska programs we have really bring the culture of Alaska on board, and they're so awesome. And you know, we have a lot of exclusives. Now, well, these puppies aren't necessarily an exclusive thing, but we'll get there. Aren't they beautiful? Who can resist puppies?
So can I jump in? Because
Sure,
with the puppies, a lot of people ask me, is Alaska a destination for kids? I would think
Totally.
absolutely, because it is so adventurous. I mean, the puppies in the piazza itself,
it speaks of
I
children.
would love
In
it.
fact, we've got some of these North to Alaska programs that are geared toward kids. But as I was saying, we have some great relationships in Alaska. Libby Riddles being one of them. She was the first woman to win the Iditarod in the 80s. In those days, you could get a T-shirt in Alaska that said, "Alaska, where men are men and women win."
Oh, I love it.
And so she comes to our ships and does a great presentation. I mean, she's not to be missed. She's super. And this is all under the heading of North to Alaska. The seafood opportunities, Alaskan seafood throughout the ship in every single venue that you can think of are peppered in. And here we have the teens and kids and family
I wasn't ahead of myself. I apologize. I knew you were going to have it in there. By the way, I love salmon, and I love that Alaska. I mean, that you think about it, the culinary, it is, and most people wouldn't think about it. It is absolutely incredible.
It's an important thread. So the children have lots to do. I think one of the key coolest things is you can see the little girl talking to the ranger. When you go into Glacier Bay, the kids can participate in the Junior Ranger program. There's shore excursions that involve kids. I mean, zip lining, kids love that.
In Alaska?
In Alaska, in a lot of ports. And again, on board these programs, they sort out the crabs for the scientific things that they do with the children's program. So there's lots to do. We're affiliated with the Discovery Channel, and so they've got the kids in mind. I mean, they really enjoy it.
That's impressive. And can I be a kid? Can I be considered a kid?
We need you for other more important things right now. Sorry,
I thought that because I would love to do this as a kid. I mean, I think this is a priceless experience.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about
forget.
You know the pause, the coma that we had, right, for 2-3 years. Think about it. Now we have this pent-up desire, and people want to do this multi-generationally. This is Alaska is a destination.
And we're going to talk about that.
That's a mystery. Boom, you're in.
But the North to Alaska program I personally love the most is Cook My Catch. And the reason is because I do catch.
Is that you?
So I have to tell you, yes, it is me. Yes.
No way.
That's amazing.
So there, a lot of our shore excursions and even our lodge tours feature the ability to do Cook My Catch. It's tagged on. So you tell the outfitter you're going to do that. They save the fish hole and they take it to the ship or lodge and prepare it and present it. So this is really awesome. And
Wow.
you can fish in almost every port. One of the questions in our question group was, where can you fish? Every one of these inside passage ports lends itself to fishing.
How big was that fish?
It
Don't tell
was-
fish
It
stories.
was
How
about
heavy?
25 inches and 40 inches and 25 pounds. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't cook, but if let's say I probably wouldn't catch anything anyway. But if I did by chance, they'd cook it for me, right? I don't have to.
Oh, they would. And this,
Okay.
yeah, they take care
Marcia's
of
looking at me
everything.
like,
They take care of everything.
You don't have to cook, Carmen.
okay
So
already.
back to why are we number one? So we said our programs are geared toward highlighting and showcasing everything people want to see. These lodges are part of it. So these two are Denali and McKinley, located at the Denali Park area. So they set you up to see all the incredible wildlife that are at these national parks. And so these two will get you into Denali, and there's the big five you'll see in Denali National Park. So there's your wildlife. And then the people asked about the road, so a quick note on the road. This 92-mile park road, they offer 3 tours normally. This coming year, they will be offering just 2. The Tundra Wilderness will take you the furthest. It's not as far as it used to go because there's been a rock slide, the road is blocked. But they're going as far as they can, and then they've taken the shorter tour, the natural history tour, and shortened that a little bit. So they're working with what they have, and they're working on fixing the road.
And
But
Judy,
at its
it's
best.
still a worthwhile experience, right? Because some people think that
No,
they're gonna
no,
miss
no.
out.
It's about getting into the park and seeing this untouched wilderness. And yes, it is well worth it. There's no doubt about it. I would not delay my trip to Alaska for this. No way.
And our lodges, we own our lodges, right? Because I've been
Right.
saying this time and time again. That means we own the brand
That's-
essence. It's on brand.
Right.
It's unique. I mean,
Right.
these are ours.
That's right.
We're not
We own
renting
and
anything
operate
here.
4 luxury wilderness lodges, and the luxury
Beautiful.
wilderness is the part that I'm interested in. But these two are Copper and Kenai. Once again, I mentioned these are going to give you access to national parks and wildlife. So in the case of Kenai, there's the Kenai Fjords area. You can take an optional trip into this area with glaciers, scenery, and this wildlife. This is amazing. Sea otters, like en masse.
Cute.
And whales and puffins. I mean, the Kenai Fjords is amazing. So Denali and Kenai are really big areas in Alaska, and our lodges take you right there. And of
I
course,
always thought there were puffins in Iceland. You're just like
you're
blooming
right. There's
away.
very few places where you'll find
That's-
puffins in North America, right? And then lastly, because we're talking again about what makes us number one, we operate our own direct to the wilderness rail. This transfers you from ship to lodge and in the most efficient way. Are you ready? Efficient means 9 hours. Alaska is big. It's very big, and it's to keep in mind when you're traveling in Alaska, this is no small feat, and so you need time.
Wow.
So this fabulous rail experience we operate, and it's all about getting from A to B and seeing all the scenery.
Right, but those beautiful glass dome, I mean,
Mhm.
come on.
I
If you're going to
might
do
put
it,
one
that's
of
the
them
way to
in.
do it.
No, we didn't.
Absolutely amazing. So, okay. So this is a lot to absorb. So I want to
Yeah.
thank you. Got to work with me.
Hey,
Takes
you're
me a little
very
longer.
receptive.
Marcia's got it, okay? Because I don't know if you know that I've done Alaska twice, but never on the Princess brand. So now this is on my life list because we don't do bucket lists at the Roy household,
Yeah.
And I want to have kids, and I want to take a big group of family because I told them this is a not to be missed, okay?
Mhm.
But sometimes we have restrictions with time, right? Because I love the idea of cruise tours. I wish I could take 21 days and just immerse myself. What is the best cruise itinerary if people are challenged from a time? And let me tell you why I asked this, because I was just in an event where someone said, oh yes, for cruise tours, absolutely, Princess. But if we need a short 7-day cruise, we can go with anybody else. What?
No.
Tell them
but
why not.
Mostly
No.
because of the North to Alaska programs on board. You
Bingo.
won't find those programs anywhere
Authentic,
else.
genuine,
Absolutely. They bring
Cultural
real
immersion.
Alaskans like Libby Riddles on board.
cultural
So-
immersion.
Exactly. So the one thing about our cruise options in Alaska is we have the best range of options. So in the big bullseye of cruising and cruise touring in Alaska, the simplest thing you can do is an inside passage. And these round trip inside passages are especially nice for families who are sensitive to air costs and so forth. So we offer 7-day round trip inside passage. And I've had the question, what is the inside passage? So I'm going to show you It's that little tail end to the right side where you see Juneau, Ketchikan, and Skagway. That is the section you'll visit on the Inside Passage cruises. And not only do we do the 7-day Inside Passage round trip from Seattle, but we also offer, you can see the cruise itinerary for that. People ask, how do I see it? If you go to Polar and click on that button that says cruise, it's going to take you to the literal itinerary. They're not posted in the brochure. It's on Polar where you can see you're in Juneau from 12 to 10.
I love it.
It tells you whether you're going to tender. So this is accessible when you're going through a Polar booking to see all of that. And the
Hey,
ports
Judy,
of call, yeah.
we got a question. David Stallings would like to know, is July the best time for whales? What about May or June? What do you think?
So actually, Alaska is like the kitchen of whales throughout the summer. They go there to eat from May to September. Then they go home to sleep in Hawaii. So the whole time from May to September, they're in Alaska.
Yeah. You're blowing me away.
It's true. We don't know. So no, it's true. And in fact, Marcia, we have a slide that says when's the best time for what,
Oh,
and we're going to
perfect.
touch on that as well. So looking at the ports of call of Juneau, the highlights of Juneau, definitely Mendenhall Glacier and whale watching. Those are the two highlights to not be missed in Juneau. In Skagway, it's the White Pass and Yukon Rail. Yes, this rail is operating. We had that question. And speaking of Skagway, you probably know there was a rock slide and they're fixing that up, but it's affected where we park the ship. No worries. We're creating methods of getting people into town. So we were taking care of that, and the rail is operating. And someone asked the best time for this rail, and actually any time you're doing this rail is a good time. There's not like a better time for this experience, but this is a highlight of Skagway. And then the last interior, that's a port of call, at the typical port of call on 7-day. It's
Salmon capital of the world.
Absolutely, salmon capital of the world. You can fish in all these ports of call, and Ketchikan is where you'll find a lot of native culture to enjoy. And folks have asked, well, how do I see the itinerary, the optional shore excursion?
Yes.
So here you go to princess.com, click on destinations. Do not click on Alaska. Go to the right there. Click on shore excursions.
Bingo.
Right now, then
That's
you go,
it.
the next step, you scroll down and you scroll in Alaska. You want to go to Europe, put Europe, but we're on Alaska. So put in Alaska. In this case, you want to see the lodge. Now, mind you, it says port excursions. But remember, we put the lodge tours in there too. So
our cruise
whatever
tours.
you put in there, you're going to get the information about that area. In this case, it tells you highlights, and then right under it, you see that 8 excursions? If you keep scrolling, I'm not going to go through all that.
Sled dog interaction. I love that.
There you go. So that, and every one of these ports of calls has this very approach. Again, it's on princess.com. Go to destinations, go to ports of call, fill in your drop boxes, and you've got it.
That is awesome.
So
Hey,
speaking of ports
Judy,
of call,
one more question. Is there a best time to see the Northern Lights?
Yes, January, and I'm not cheesing.
January.
Now, you know we're not there in January, Marcia. So the key is this. The further north you are and the later in the season, the more likely. So if someone, so I caution your clients that this is not the optimal time, but the best possibility, September, like Denali and Fairbanks, north.
Got it. Thank
So
you.
we're still on the Inside Passage. We offer some great Inside Passage cruising even out of Vancouver. The Crown is offering this, and it features a little known port, and this is it, Icy Strait Point. A lot of native culture to be seen here because the natives, in fact, have built this port.
That's amazing. So I gotta add a couple sales tips there, because we looked at the 7-day Seattle round trip. So for those guests that are sensitive with pricing, maybe for air, because we do not control, we can control lodges, rails, and everything else in Alaska, but not the air pricing. And then with the Vancouver round trip, I'm loving this, the 10 and 11 days, but also our Canadian partners out there. I've yet to hear from any of you. We opened up Canada at par, right? It's available. It's yours. Take it. And by the way, not just for Alaska, but for pretty much other destinations, which we're not about to talk about because it's all about you.
We've got more Inside Passage because we're also doing 10-day round trip San Francisco. So we've got a lot of round trip. And by the way, those 2 last itineraries, they would be excellent for anybody who went to Alaska, fell in love, would love to do some more. And these will have some little bit different ports and more time in the inside. So this is the cruise experience.
And you know, if I'm doing the San Francisco one, which I think would be on my list, Judy, just
yes,
I'm going to be doing a little nap in advance. Just to get me ready for the cruise.
Yes, perfect.
Right.
The departure port is everything here. Exactly.
Amen.
Exactly.
I love it.
Cruising is great, but here's the thing, and I want to say this to you. Your clients are going to come into you and say, I want to take a cruise to Alaska. They may not know it, but what they may really mean is, I want a cruise tour, but they don't even know that word. So ask them this question. Well, when you go to Alaska, do you want to see Denali? Because that opens the door. You all know in order to see Denali, you have to get into a cruise tour. So let's move to cruise tours. Right?
Cruise tours it is. So I guess what, and this is, listen, I'm new to this, right? I've only done the cruise portion of it. So the cruise tours, you hit it. You have to show what the exclusive, listen, they're going a long way. And it's really up to us, and there's money to be made in cruise tours. You know, I always have to circle back to the profitability.
Yes.
Not just for us. By the way, if we don't hit our Alaska numbers, Princess being number one, we don't hit the year.
Product,
so it's critical.
So this voyage is the basis of every cruise tour, the Voyage of the Glaciers.
Okay.
This is an awesome itinerary. It runs between Vancouver and Whittier. It features 2 glacier calls always, always, always Glacier Bay. You will always go to Glacier Bay on a Princess cruise tour, and that's super important. So you can take this just as a cruise, but as I said, it's part of a cruise tour. This multi-gen, we all know this is one of the hot spots in the growth areas of what's growing and people are wanting, and it's the multi-gen experience. You see the granddad and the dad's probably still working with the children. They really probably have the time for the cruise. But why should we cheat the granddad? So choose a Voyage of the Glaciers for the whole family, and then move on to select a tour, a cruise tour that includes that voyage to send those in the group who can go, and you can put them together, basically, market them together.
So you could even just have part of the family do the cruise because they got it back to work. And okay, bingo, loving it.
And I like Carmen's advice. I use this a lot now about optimizing your air, right? Carmen, I learned that from you, right? So you're going to pay air to go to Alaska. You might as well see the most of it while you're there. Yep.
Absolutely. So you're taking the price of the air. Why not do a cruise tour and go ahead and amortize what that expensive air costs when you're there for 14 days, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the important thing. Love that.
So what is a cruise tour? Well, we've just said it's a cruise, plus then you get into the interior with us with the rail and the lodge. And we do this, we own and operate all of it. We've already been through that. So it's seamless for the people. And so this is the key, another key to being number one in Alaska is we have it all. And so we're not passing you on to someone else. These are all our things. We're all in charge of all of it.
And we're in charge of the DNA and the brand essence of it.
Everything,
right?
Everything, exactly.
Okay.
So in the brochure, we have 4 types of cruise tours. The Denali Explorer is by far the largest selection, and that's at the top, and then we'll hit the other 2. But the Denali Explorer cruise tours, and you'll see that, I took that right out of the brochure. You'll see that in the brochure, so you'll visualize this is the grouping we're talking about. And it features these 2 lodges, which you've seen already, McKinley and Denali. That's what's totally featured in those tours. And again, the largest selection of what we have. So, boy, that line right in the middle blocks it out, but these are from 10 to...
We have the line, they don't have the line,
okay, they don't have the line, so you can read it, the length of time on these cruise tours, but they all simply feature wrapped around Denali and McKinley. And the thing to remember about these as you look at it is the longer the better. Remember I told you it takes 9 hours on the train to get where you're going, right? Right. So these 2 tours are identical, F and K. Well, excuse me, not identical. They feature the same places, but the difference is 2 days longer. When you look at this as a per diem, as you talked about making your air investment worth it, when you look at the per diem on the cost of this, it's only $100 a night more to have those 2 extra nights. And why do you want that? Well, let's look at Fairbanks.
Number one, the price. You can't get anything for $100 a night.
Right. So those extra nights are just another $100, and it's well worth it because you get to more relaxing, and it's really like overall a better value. Let me show you exactly how this shows up. Again, you can go to Polar and click on land. Many people don't know this, but you can click on land, and here it's going to give you the itinerary. And if you look at this, you arrive there on Saturday. This is the short tour. Sunday morning at 8:45, you're in a motor coach heading out to do the riverboat discovery. You get a very short break, and you depart at 1 p.m. to head for Denali, and it takes 3 hours to get there. It's 4 o'clock. You just arrived in Alaska the day before, and I guarantee it took you at least 6 hours to get there, and you probably went through some time zones. It's grueling. So having 2 nights in the beginning is super important, and then the other end, where you saw 1 night at McKinley, it's super important too. You're going to leave Denali at 12:15. And you'll spend the night. You're going to leave McKinley about the same time, about midday. Well, you got there, you took a nap, you had dinner. Did you go fishing? No. So you have to, if you want to get something done, if you really want to enjoy the time, it's better to have more time. So this shows you the shorter tour, the longer tour with 2 nights in each bed, much more fulfilling,
Amen.
really.
Hey, Judy, Kevin said the detail on Polar is very, very helpful.
It is, and I know a lot of folks don't know where to find that. That's why I
Which this
included
is
it.
so helpful because
Yeah.
it'll walk you through,
Right.
right? So I think it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
is
There's
very,
Kevin. Thank
very
you,
good.
Kevin. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
So that was our first section, by far the biggest grouping, but they all focus on strictly Denali. Remember, Denali's in everything, but then if you hit this grouping off the beaten path, it's going to pepper in the other 2 lodges, the boutique lodges. These are small. They're less than 100 rooms. So first of all, it's an intimate experience. And they're located near the national parks. Remember, I told you if you go to Kenai, you can see all the puffins and whales. And
Beautiful. It's your backdrop.
it's right.
What a landscape.
It's amazing, right? So the off the beaten track path is going to, we'll always go to Denali, but then it's going to pepper in Kenai or Copper. And again, speaking of longer tours, you'll find a little bit longer tours in here. So then we're through 2 of these. The third one is the connoisseur grouping. So this is the mystery,
got my name
right?
written
It
all
does,
over it.
you
Kind
know?
of like wine
Yeah.
connoisseur. I could be a tour connoisseur. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
So the connoisseur peppers in a little bit of both the Denali ones and the ones that have the smaller lodges as well. But here's the key about the connoisseur. So everything else we've already talked about are hosted. They don't include the meals on land. They're not escorted on land, and they have a shorter park tour. If you choose from connoisseur, meals are already included. There's a dedicated tour escort, and on that note, I'm going to get personal.
Get personal.
This summer, I'm going to Alaska to act as an escort on the connoisseur tours.
I want to be, okay. Oh, okay.
I
we're
want to
gonna
go.
Single connoisseur tour because if I want you on I'm not kidding you. Listen, when this webinar is over, we're aligning because I'm going to cruise when you're there so I can do a
Well,
cruise
we're going
to
to do a coffee
connoisseur.
clutch. So.
Well, we're doing that, but no, you're not going to get rid of me that easy. Oh my God. Oh, Janetta says she misses you as her Princess Business Development Manager.
Yes, Janetta, I will save you a spot. Right on.
And me too.
Yeah.
But you know why? She has a higher purpose, okay? I know, don't be selfish now. We need to share her. Except I'm going to go on the connoisseur. End of story.
Always
Wow.
right.
Escorting.
Okay, so now back to the track here. It includes meals, it includes an escort, it includes the longer park tour. By the way, agents, if you choose from the hosted, you can actually customize and select the longer park tour. Just chat in the Polar chat or talk to Rez. They can see if they have it and pop it right in there for your clients because that's important.
When you say meals, you mean all included?
It's generally breakfast and lunch, or
Okay.
breakfast and dinner are
Okay,
included. So it's most meals. And by the
Okay.
way, if you do hosted and clients want meals, we do have a meal package. So you can sell that if you wish.
Ooh.
And that
Okay.
meal package is commissionable.
It's what commission. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
thank you, Marcia. That was a great lead in because any
Oh
one
my
of these
God.
connoisseurs. Now this is the creme de la creme. This is the one you're going to do.
I can't take 17
So
nights.
think about it, guys. If you sell this cruise tour, you're being commissioned on the total cost. The total price of this includes meals. You're being commissioned on the meals. It includes the longer park tour. You're being commissioned on the longer. You're being commissioned on my being the escort, okay? So the bottom line, you're being commissioned on all of it. But you know what? And anyone who I've worked with knows this to be a fact. The fact that you're being commissioned on all of it is really cool. But what's really, really cool? So many of your clients want this exactly kind of experience. This is like the top shelf Cadillac first class.
If you're going
and
there,
so many
all the way
can
there.
and want it. You just need to present it. Don't be afraid to present it. There's so many who are like, yeah, that's what I want. And then it's a win. So
And we created this based on feedback from travel advisors and consumers.
Okay, Marcia, can I have 17 nights?
All right,
Done.
so what's the best time to go? So let's take this line by line. The first line is talking about temperatures. I have to tell you honestly, guys, these are actuary numbers. You know, they crunch them. But I'm going to tell it to you straight. The average temps in Alaska are in the 70s, okay? But here's the weird part. They can range from the 40s. You see that 41 in May, and they can go as high as the 80s. I don't see 80 anywhere there, and they do go as high as 80. But here's what's really wild. One morning, the captain woke us up. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 58 degrees. We're expecting highs in the 80s. What do you wear?
Layers.
Right?
Layers.
Layers. But that's the point. And it can do this any day, anytime. Doesn't matter if it's May or September. When agents would come home from Alaska, I'd say, so tell me what you experienced about the weather, especially in September. And,
I agree,
a lot of
Bethany.
people come back
Great
and
graph.
say September, and it was like 80 degrees in Denali. Like, so you need to be prepared, those little lightweight wool socks and the little zip off pants with the shorts, because it can be anything. So then what people really want to know too, when they ask you when is the best time to go, they want to know when it's not raining. Well, so I will be honest, it drizzles a little in Alaska about all the time, but actuarially speaking, May and June are the drier months. So this is a good time.
Really?
They
I would
are.
have not thought that.
But for me, one of the best times in Alaska has to do with kind of the magic of Alaska. You see that clock there under June?
Yeah.
The summer solstice, June, about 20th, it changes year to year. But that's your longest hours of light. And within our programs, meaning as far north as Fairbanks, 20 hours is what you're going to get at
Land
that
of the
time.
midnight
Wow.
sun. That's true.
Bingo, it's true. And so the peak of the light is in those 2 months, but you as an Eastern person or a person who doesn't live in Alaska is going to experience that midnight sun no matter when you go.
Love it.
But June is a sweet time.
Yeah.
And
Everyone's
so,
saying how great this graph is, Judy. So I
Yeah.
hope you guys are taking a
Yeah.
picture. Snap it.
Yeah. So Kendra Brownlee made this graph. So thank you, Kendra.
Spectacular.
So the whales, we spoke of the whales. They come to Alaska for their kitchen in the summer. The whole time you see that, they go back to Hawaii to sleep. Same with the bears. They wake up early and they're there all summer and fishing all through the season. I have to tell you a funny fishing story. See those 2 stars in June and July?
Yep.
Those are kind of the peak times for salmon fishing, but there's 5 different salmon groups, right? So you really need to say which salmon, which river, and all that. And when I was going to Alaska, my husband wanted to catch the run, and I knew how elusive this could be. I said, oh, honey, you should go online and Google it. And he did. So I let him Google and pick the date. So we get there, and they say to us as we're there that day, oh, tomorrow the run is really going to start. And we were leaving that day. So
Thanks, honey.
Yeah, right. But you see, I stayed out of it. So yeah, you never quite know, but it is, you can read about this and catch some salmon fishing. I did catch that fish you saw there in July in Copper River,
Wow.
the Copper River
What an
area.
experience.
And last but not least, Alaska's seasonal. So notice the little family pictures in the middle. From June to August, when the kids are out of school, that's when is the peak
Makes
season,
sense.
price-wise, plus it's busiest. So then when you're on the shoulder seasons, May and September, the prices are a bit lower and it's a little bit less busy. So
Right.
if you can do that, super.
Makes sense.
And so now,
Do you need any sort of license to fish?
you
Terry wants
do,
to
and
know.
they provide it all. I went grayling fishing in Denali, and they took us out to a little shed and gave us hip boots. I
Ooh.
did bring socks. I knew I would need socks, so I brought heavy socks. And we signed the little pad and got our fishing license. And this was lightweight fly gear. It was so amazing, and it was fall. The tundra was like the color of Kick cereal, just beautiful. And so I was catching, and I was the only woman on this tour, so I know. And so I said to the guide, I said, this is embarrassing. It happens to me quite a bit that I'll take a tour and I'm the only woman catching. He said, well, do you remember up at the van, I was teaching everyone how to use the fly gear? He said, you were paying attention.
Attention to detail. Woohoo!
So fishing is a great time. So best time to go. Then I have some advice sections here.
I love advice. Are you kidding? All of this has been advice.
Oh,
You
well,
are
it's true.
so I guess
It's true.
so you covered when is best time to go. I love the fact that you've covered the ability for value, right?
Yeah.
And taught us whales across the board.
Mhm.
You're gonna have different variety of but it's the midnight sun. Like that was one of the things. Okay, I have a question. Where's the Red Dog Saloon again?
It's in Juneau.
In Juneau. Red Dog Saloon. That's all I remember. No, just
Yeah, there you go. You're
I can-
getting it.
I-
You're getting it.
little by
There's
little.
hope for you.
Okay, you bet. Because if Marcia lets me get off work in July and I can go and join you, 17 nights, there'll be peace and tranquility in the
I
home.
think it would be perfect if we both go.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
All right.
think Judy could handle
All right.
both of us.
Okay, so
Best advice.
this advice will help all of you here. Okay, plan ahead. Before you know it, you turn around and you're through Denali. Don't let that happen. Be sure you plan ahead for your shore excursions and optional tours. What you do there in optional tours and shore excursions really is a rich experience in Alaska. So take the time to plan ahead. Recommend the longer tours. Remember, we talked about this. They go to the same place. You might be tempted. Oh, F's going to get me where I want to go. But check out those red underlines Joe gave us. The 2 nights in Fairbanks and 2 nights in McKinley are really going to help you enjoy this trip. So recommend longer nights.
Wow.
Become an Alaska expert. So if you go to OneSource and you go to the training area, the academy, you can become an expert. And there you're going to learn a lot of good stuff, like when to market Alaska, for example. And in this case, on OneSource, you're going to be able to find all the stuff you need for Alaska. So here's where to find it. Now we are on OneSource. Click on sales. Here you will click on destination. And here, go scroll. There's tons of stuff, but I want to point out specifically, if you are using this brochure, go where I am showing you to go and download that 2023 Alaska brochure, because it is new. This is now old, and we have reprinted.
Lots of changes.
In fact, that Crown Princess round trip Vancouver is not in that brochure.
Right.
So be sure you're using current info. We are just making that 23 new Alaska brochure digital, guys. So but just sure you have the digital so you're accurate. The other thing that you need so very much if you want to be an expert in Alaska is the Alaska Experience Cruise Tour pamphlet. This goes through each lodge, tells you a bit about the train, about each lodge. This is a hard copy piece. You can give it to your clients. And the Alaska Cruise Tour answer book. There are questions and answers in there that actually I didn't know, but it tells you how we manage the luggage. Someone in this group of questions asked, how do you do the luggage? So if you're leaving Fairbanks, we give you tags. We say direct to ship. So you keep one bag, give us the rest of them. We basically store them while you're on tour in Alaska, and then you'll pick them up at the ship. And we do it in the other direction, and it's all explained in the Alaska Cruise Tour answer book.
So
you need these tools without a doubt. These
Absolutely
3 things
seamless.
on OneSource under destinations, of course, the next destination being Alaska. And become an Alaska expert, no doubt about it. This will tell you when to market, tells you everything. So the prime time to market Alaska is between August and January. We all take a break in December, of course, but that's the key of it. We are already out with 24, so you can be selling that for the folks who have a key eye on that, and then they'll get what they want if they start early.
But I want to jump in because the world has changed.
Yes.
Right? Booking windows have changed. So yes, we are open for 24, and we're seeing, as I'm out in the field talking to many of you who are promoting, you are seeing closer in booking windows. So where the traditional booking window would have been August, take a break in December and January. There was no break, Judy, in December. I can tell you. After Thanksgiving, we have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, waves started earlier. The trajectory, the momentum, it is hot. So do not for any reason think we have space in Alaska, because that booking window is shortening. And so absolutely, these are great times. They do.
And I will share that we're getting some questions about 2024. The materials are on OneSource. There's a full deployment and all the highlights and all the materials are there for you.
Yes, on my next seminar, we're going to go through how to read that deployment.
I need that now. Can I get it now?
No, we have no time. So
thank goodness.
Just a little bit more advice, and then we can go to all the questions.
But by the way, can I tell you, Princess Academy rated #1 by our travel partners, along with #1 cruise line in Alaska.
That's right.
Incredible.
Which
and
leads
technology.
me to my next line.
Go!
I'm going to say to you, go ahead and recommend Princess in Alaska. I know people come to you and say, I love XYZ cruise line. That's what I know. That's what I'm familiar with. Be confident and say, look, Princess in Alaska is #1. When you're going to do Alaska, you got to sort of close your eyes and jump. Step out on that ice. It is solid. We have got Alaska. And to give your clients a super Alaska experience, you really have to get them on Princess with the North to Alaska programs, and get them into the interior if you can, please, because it's just so beautiful.
We're the experts.
So, recommend, right.
I mean, do you want to go to the expert, or do you want to go to someone who doesn't even know where Alaska is on the map, but they're going to tell you they've been there,
and
they've been there before.
This is another reason for being an Alaska expert. When people want to go to Alaska, they really want to talk to an agent who knows. Be an Alaska expert. Wear your expert pin wherever mine is.
There's yours.
And they're going to be like, yes, show me how. Because this is my last bit of advice. Remember, you're not just selling a cruise. You are responsible for creating the magic of Alaska, without a doubt. You have to
Yeah.
remember to recommend the #1 cruise line, but remember that Alaska really is a land without fences.
Beautiful.
And the animals, the animals, they
Oh.
outnumber the people. And
Wow.
yes,
That brings it true to, oh,
the sun
look at
does
that
shine at
picture.
midnight in Alaska. And the scenery in Alaska is so awesome and inspirational that sometimes a trip to Alaska can have an effect on your life and change it. And I know that, Carmen.
Personally.
That's why I'm here with you.
You know it.
I
And I
know
want to be
it.
with you when you're the
I know
director of
it.
those tours, and I can
Yes.
go for 17 nights.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
So you're weaving this magic,
It's
guys.
gorgeous.
Get your badge and reach out to your clients and tell them, yes, I know Alaska. I will help you make your dreams come true.
And you know, I wish everybody had a Judy in their backyard to help them, right?
So
Doing, because
true.
you did that for 40 years, right?
I
That's your
did.
expertise.
I loved it.
And you do, and now you're the ambassador. I mean,
Yeah.
that is an amazing thing, because you're going to be we're going to weave you into some of our confidential stuff that we'll talk about later in the webinar. But I want to recommend that everybody also reaches out to their business development manager,
Yes.
right? This is recorded. We're going to keep it there. You've been just so generous with your time to continue to train, not just our new people. So we've hired a whole bunch of new colleagues, and they're so excited to
Yes.
get the training from you, because you are that
Tomorrow.
expert,
Yeah.
and you paint the picture, right? So I'm ready to go. But more exciting, you said it's the magic of Alaska, but the magic of painting the picture and telling the story, just like Judy did. You as a travel partner, advisor, when you're talking to your clients, this is a destination. You don't want to do it with those who don't know how to execute and deliver that magic.
They want an insider.
They can go there. And there's a lot of cruise companies in Alaska this year.
Yeah.
And so, what's the difference between you? If you didn't get the difference, the uniqueness, the subject matter experts, you're going to have happy clients, because you're going to know you've immersed them in the culture and the experience.
Yep.
And that is the true magic. If I could bottle that, oh my goodness.
Yeah, for
Would
sure.
that be amazing? Look at that.
Hey, Judy, we got a question. Carol wanted to know, is there a best side of the ship to be on?
That's a good one.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the inside track on this. This is one of those strongly believed misnomers, okay? So here's how I would play it. If you look at any map of Alaska, you can see you're inside a passage. That means there's land on both sides of the ship most of the time. The other thing to remember is very often when you take off from a port, it's night. You're in the shower getting ready to go to dinner. You're not looking out your window. So which side of the ship you're on almost doesn't matter. And so, but it has stuck, because I will tell you, and you know this if you sell Alaska, the side of the ship that faces the landmass is going to sell out first. Our numbers will tell you that, right? So this is what I would do. You have to let your clients own this if they really feel strongly, and it's early in the season. If it's early in the season, go ahead and support it. They happen to know an insider track, good for them. Let's get you the cabin. If it's late in the season and you know you're not going to get this, be honest. Look at the map.
That's perfect advice. I think we had Anthony was asking, whenever it says Fairbanks Hotel on a cruise tour, is that always the Princess Riverside Lodge?
Not always. So we use several hotels in Fairbanks. They are all comparable. I've stayed at the Bear Lodge and love it as well. So no, in the case, that's why when I talk about luxury wilderness lodges and all of this, I'm talking about the four: Denali, McKinley, Kenai, and Copper, because you're choosing a cruise tour that is in includes one of those lodges. In the case of Fairbanks, we're going to arrange it. It's so complicated how you fit all these people in all these beds.
It's amazing.
It is.
It is amazing. And we have our team ready to go for this season, right? They're all signed, sealed, and going to be delivered.
So I have to tell you this, speaking of the team ready to go. So I've been speaking to some people in Alaska who do the connoisseur touring, and they're seasoned people, right? So I'm listening. God is my witness, each one of them, as I've been talking to them, stop in the middle of the sentence and say to me, as we've been into the conversation a while, they say, I love Alaska. And these are the people that are taking care of your clients in Alaska. I'm so proud to be joining them, because of course then we laugh, because they realize I do too.
That's amazing. The destination, the magic. And when you're there, and it's not a destination that you go to once. I got to
Oh.
tell you, I don't have to sell you on that, but I mean, for the first time, that's why I think
Yeah.
selling that connoisseur tour, just in case it's the only time the clients are going to go,
Mhm.
you're going to make sure you have delivered and executed on an experience, a memorable experience of a lifetime, with every possible aspect of it,
Mhm.
right? Which is phenomenal. And so this is interesting because I've seen all of the incredible salmon, right? I love salmon. You know, I don't eat red meat, but I eat fish.
Oh,
So one of our partners want to know, do we have vegetarian friendly meals on cruise tours?
So when you're on a cruise, when you're on the ship, you can sort of designate what your need is,
Right.
and we sort of log it in, right?
Mhm.
But when you're on the land portion, you're often selecting from a menu. And I've
Got it.
taken a look at these menus. There's not a decent menu out there anywhere that you go these days that you won't find a vegetarian or a vegan.
So it is
Yeah.
decent menus.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
I
no,
misunderstood.
yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean it's not decent?
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
You will have options. I
Yeah,
agree. I
yeah,
think
you'll have
everywhere you
options,
go,
but
you have that.
Yeah, you'll have options.
I
definitely.
would be so happy just having salmon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I could have it in the morning cold with cream cheese and capers and maybe some onions, and then lunch I could have more salmon, and dinner I could
You're
have more
making
salmon.
me hungry.
All day long, all night long. Amazing. So we're gonna have more questions for you. Do you mind
Oh yeah, I'd love to field the questions.
stepping down?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Oh,
get
oh,
back
there-
control.
She's taking control.
I let it go. Don't ever say I'm a control. So, just want to get into a couple just of the sales things, and I promise we'll go pretty quickly because you know one of the commitments that we've made, Marcia and I, when we are connecting with you in these webinars, we value your time. We know, especially now, that business is booming. Taking an hour out of your schedule is a huge commitment. So we want to thank you for that, the support and the partnership. But just giving you insider insight. So on Feb 15, we're going to open our Summer Caribbean. I've had you all put this in the questions so many times. We've had webinars, so here we are. Next week, we're there. Feb 15, 46 departures, 21 destinations from 7 to 20 voyages, 2 ships to choose from. Super excited. Summer Caribbean. Japan, 2024, Feb 15th. Wouldn't you know it? It opens and that's where you'll be, Marcia, right? How long
I
are you
know.
going to be part of the plan?
It's
How long-
perfect timing.
How long are you going to be gone?
10 days.
We're
10
going to have
days,
to
8 days in Japan. I get to see all the ports that we're going to, not all of them, but a lot of the ports we're going to visit. So I can come back and share with everybody.
we're banking on it. You might have to have your own webinar. I'm just saying because you're going to come with that same passion that Judy feels for Alaska. But again, also
Absolutely.
open Feb 15, 36 departures, 35 destinations, 9 to 23 voyages, and of course we have one beautiful vessel. And then I just want to remind some of the, you know, we did these as wave offers when we started what we thought wave would start as January 9th, and we put it through Feb 28th, which is our sell 3, sail free. Really important. We opened this up. We had originally done last year's version with just Alaska focus, which you would love, Judy. But now we opened it up to our entire destination collection. So you're able to sell whatever you sell in 23. Guess what? It's about earning, make these bookings, and also why not? Of course, the usual, right? Your onboard expenditures, but we have the Princess Plus and the Princess Premier opportunities, right? That includes crew appreciation. That's gratuity, ladies and gentlemen. That's kind of what it is. So again, any of the destinations, it's a plethora. I don't like that word, but I want to say it anyway. A plethora of choices for you. And again, then you can book, and we keep updating this. So remember, all of the promotional details, the offers, also which voyages you could get a free cruise on, right? All of it,
Right.
it'll continue to change because remember, you're making bookings now for the whole year. So onesourcecruises.com and the marketing team, which is really Joe, has worked really, really hard with Anne and obviously Brandon to give you the assets you need. We introduced Princess Partner Support Team. We listened to your feedback. So as you see, those are the hours, and we're pretty much doing response. Remember, we're just getting started. We haven't even had 4 weeks under our belt. Lots of different learnings, but the team has loved. That's what I've been hearing, and a lot of you have emailed us with just phenomenal support and excellent feedback. So we really appreciate it. I should have done a drum roll.
You should have.
But I didn't.
Mhm.
Ah, how could I have done that? So coming next week. So what's next Tuesday again?
Something
Valentine.
about that color you're wearing.
Valentine. That's what Cal calls it. Valentine. But this is perfect. Ta-da!
Never too late for a drum roll.
Never, or drama, which I like, by the way. Hence why I'm in red. So let me just say, it's not that we're going to skip Valentine's Day. We're not going to skip it. There'll be something coming for you, which includes this, the Seminar at Sea schedule, the initial one that we'll have. So really important. I mean, I personally would sell 3 and sale free, but if you don't want to sell 3, you want to just go and pay, please do. We're going to have these seminar series. You'll have this opportunity. You're joined by an expert, right? A Princess Business Development Manager. And we've given you options. So it's not just Alaska. We've also chosen Caribbean and coastal. So you can pick and choose. Really important. And the reduced rate includes Princess Plus, because we want you to really have that all-inclusive. Actually, Jeff was talking about it. It pays 2 plus. And we said what commission you're earning because you're recommending plus, and the cost of it, $60 a day. If you were to do just, we went through this, 4 glasses of wine, that's it pays the plus. So we did
It blew my mind. It blew my mind to see what a difference it was to cruise without the plus or premier, and then with it. It's a totally different experience.
Completely. And again, it pays the plus. It makes no financial sense, even if people don't drink. Because I get that about, oh my, thank you, Amparo. I get that a lot. Folks say, no, but my clients don't drink alcohol. I said, right, but do they have? I myself, I get 5 lattes in the morning. That alone.
Literally water. Literally water. It's such a good value that if all you drink is bottled water all day long, it's well worth it.
Smoothies, waters. I mean, I'm with you. And not to mention the gratuities, right? The crew appreciation, huge. It really does pay to plus. So again, Insider Insights, these are the days, Seminars at Sea. Look for the email next week, because we're not sending you to the link or the landing page just yet. Once we're ready to open it up, then you've got some great voyages there. We've got a lot of Alaska, which is spectacular as well. And then again, we have a round trip. So we're giving you lots to choose from. And I'm just happy that we're able to do it. So there it is, that Valentine's Day offer. Of course, the company that owns love can't forget the day. I just don't want to just focus on that day in the whole month. More to come there. But we will, again, add on to our best cruise ever. Again, 35% off, and then the $50 reduced deposits. I think it's really critical that, because we have best sale ever. We've had it, and we will. And now through March 1st. So again, lots to think about. The $100 deposit, up to $600 onboard spend. We really have given you the opportunity to package, maximize, and leverage. And then, of course, for the month of Feb 1st, when we launched it through March 1, you have the Denali on sale, which is really spectacular. If you think of those per day rates, those are unbelievable. And now that Judy's done such an amazing job dressing us in this Alaska experience and that magical destination, it is even better to really recommend this. And again, more Insider Insights coming next week. 3rd and 4th guest sale free, which again, $50 reduced deposits, 35% savings. We're putting so much up against it. And we notice we say guest, not kids. We say guest, okay? Because it's 3rd and 4th. Unlike Judy not letting me go in the kids programs, right? Whatever, I could learn. I'd be dangerous any other way, Judy. But we get to the good part, questions. Let's get to the Q&A, because I've got a few more that were sent in advance, Marsha. So Marsha wants to keep me very focused, right? So you want to make sure you have the questions in advance, because I'd probably miss them otherwise, even though, I would love to talk to the lady with the Alaskan Malamutes. Is that right?
Yeah.
I guess, right? Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. See what happens when I'm off script, Marsha? You're supposed to reel me in. Okay. One question was already answered, which, what are the offerings for kids on an Alaska cruise? I think, Judy, you did a great, that slide was spectacular. I mean, for me, that says it all. Okay. And then we talked about, is there a recommended best time to take the White Pass rail ride? Morning versus afternoon?
Right. And then we had touched that when we were talking about Skagway. I actually vetted that because I thought it was an interesting question. And no direction that I went in did anyone have any feedback saying better, worse, good, bad. So not so. And I know I've done it myself at different times, and it's always super. The only thing I would say is if you're afraid of heights, you're going to go straight up the side of a mountain. So.
Okay. At some point in life, you need to overcome your fears.
There you go. Well, don't look that way, but the natural beauty and the history and the awesome naturalness of Skagway is just,
It's
that's one of the
well
most
worth it.
beautiful ports.
It's gorgeous.
It
And you know what?
is.
I live on the 49th floor now. I'm okay. As
You're
long as
good.
I look forward and we're good. Another question, which is really interesting, and I think this is not intuitive to me. Can Princess Land tours be booked without a cruise?
So the answer to that is cryptic. No,
Ooh, no.
and yes.
Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah.
So
You know,
Good. Then
I do. So we do have land only packages that we sell, but they're few and far between because the greatest experience is the cruise with the land tour, right? So
Correct.
if you want the land only, you absolutely have to book early because there's limited space on those.
So, and one of the keys is we, the sales department for Princess, we don't really handle that product
Right.
like the land only. And as Marcia said, it's kind of leftovers. Like if you're a seamstress, you know, you lay your pattern out,
Remnants.
you cut it
Got
out,
it.
you sew a dress, that's a cruise store,
Right.
all sewn together. You have scraps. The scraps are what's left with maybe some lodge stays. So
Love that, Judy.
it's you know, it's inextricably
Don't
sewed
be scrappy.
together.
Get the dress. That's what
So
I
there is
say.
a little bit, I can't lie, there is
Say
a
yes
bit,
to the
little
dress.
bit of leftover, but it's not robust, it's not easily, you know, we don't sell it, we don't have information about it,
Yeah.
etc.
So
Who
here's
wants
another.
scraps?
This one's really good. Hey, say yes to the dress. Buy the whole thing.
Yes.
By the way, my mother was a seamstress, and those remnants of
Yes.
curtains became my outfit.
There
Just
you-
saying, okay? I felt like I was in the
You
Sound
know,
of
I
Music.
knew that.
Kid you not.
We have a lot of commonality.
Isn't that incredible? Okay, I don't doubt that. So this one's interesting because it's also with land tours. Can you add a land tour a few days after your cruise ends? Sometimes our groups wants to do another land trip prior to starting the Princess Land tour.
Very interesting. I liked that question and I gave it a lot of thought. So technically the short answer is no. If you are on a cruise tour and you, let's say you're going northbound, you get on in Vancouver, you get off in Whittier and your land tour is laid out, in that middle part there, you cannot go away. We're going to take you from the ship straight to wherever it is you're going. In many of these, you're going straight from Whittier right up to Denali. So it's sewn together like a dress, right? But here is how to go around that. Let's say someone wants to take a fairly simple Denali Explorer cruise tour, which does not include the Kenai Princess
Okay.
Lodge, right? It just is going to focus on Denali. But they said, yeah, but Judy showed me that Kenai thing. I really want to get the Kenai. How do I do that? Here's how you do that. Choose a cruise tour that either begins or ends in Anchorage, okay? So let's say it begins in Anchorage. Go into Anchorage a day early because your cruise tour includes a night in Anchorage, but you create another night in Anchorage. So you arrive there, you go to sleep. The next morning, 8 a.m., you can catch our tour. You'll have to book it in advance. Motor coach, and we will take you a 3-hour drive down to the Kenai Fjords, do the fjord area, and then drive you back up to Anchorage. You won't get home till 8 p.m. So this is why you need to wake up and go to sleep in Anchorage. You need that extra night.
Right.
But now, before your tour even began, you saw the Kenai Fjords National Park. And so this is a magical thing an agent can do.
That.
Client says to you, my time is limited, but I want to see it all. So you choose like a shorter tour that begins or starts with 11-day begin in Anchorage. And now you add it up for 12 days. You can get your clients to 3 national parks, Glacier Bay, Denali, and Kenai in 12 days. Only agents who understand Alaska can make that happen. Go for it.
That's this one's good too.
It's an amazing tip.
Isn't that? I love that. What is the biggest difference between Glacier Bay National Park and Hubbard Glacier?
So Hubbard Glacier is kind of like the drama queen. It's like you.
I'm a Hubbard Glacier. That's an honor, Marcia.
It is. So, and I mean in this regard, Hubbard Glacier is a wall of ice. It's 400 feet high and 7 miles wide. It's very dramatic. The blue color and the hugeness, the thunderous calving, this is quite a scene, right? So it's quite dramatic, right?
I love it.
Glacier Bay is more gentle. It's a bay. It's actually almost a fjord.
It's Marcia.
I'm Glacier Bay. I'm Glacier Bay.
You are. So if you go to Glacier Bay, it's a long, slow ride into what's almost like a fjord. And you're passing 7 tidewater glaciers, and the ship's spending almost all day going in, turning around. You're immersed in this whole glacier area. So you're tucked in there, whereas Hubbard is this huge wall. So the main thing to remember as you're selling this is if you can get Glacier Bay, that's good because your consumer recognizes it. If you were to poll an audience and say, how many people know Glacier Bay? Almost everybody would raise their hand. How many people know Hubbard Glacier? Not so much. So it just becomes a recognition thing. But honestly, a fabulous glacier is a fabulous glacier.
And that's an incredible analogy because
It
how
is.
many people know Marcia? Everybody else. How many people know Karen? Hubbard Glacier. It's okay. So I know we're right over the hour, but last question, because this is really this is like another drum roll, because this is Judy's best advice to tell us why Princess over any other brand in Alaska.
We were one of the first lines there. Absolutely. We've got the North to Alaska programs on board where we bring in real Alaskans to make your client's Alaska experience happen. We own and operate those lodges, the rail and the ship, which means we've got all of it going on so that it's seamless for you. I also on the side say, we know where your luggage is.
Oh,
Because we have it all together, right? So we can do it all. And with that direct to the wilderness rail, you can cover a lot of ground and get some shorter tours and still see 3 national parks.
you heard it here first from the
Amazing, Judy.
Want to thank you, Judy, for joining us.
My
Absolutely fantastic. And the fact that we record this, it's available for you. You can go in there. It is beautiful. So our next Connect with Princess, Feb 23rd. Marcia will not be there because she'll be in Japan, living La Vida Loca, having a great time. But that means she's committed to doing a Japan webinar for us.
La
So
Vida Sushi.
yes. Oh, stop. So, as always, thank you, Terry. As always, I want to thank all of you for your attention, your continued support. We have plenty of availability. So whether it's 23, 24, Alaska, okay? The last frontier. Can I say that?
It is, it
It
is.
is.
Yes.
And the land of the midnight sun. On behalf of all of us, and thank you to Judy for coming.
Thank you, Judy.
And
My
thank you,
pleasure.
Marcia. I'll miss you again next week. Now, nobody's going to show up at the webinar, as I said.
I'll see you soon after.
I got it. Thank you all. Make it a great, great selling day.
Thanks, everybody.